beer belly walleyes, a 17-pound burbot, and Minnesota has a new state record pike. We got that and more coming up right now in Target Walleye's Top 5 presented by Seafoam. Let's dive on in. This walleye has a dang Dunlap. What, you've never heard of one? It's when its belly Dunlaps over its belt. Okay, that's a really good dad joke.
I don't care who you are, that's funny right there.
Just another wild specimen caught fishing with Lake Erie guide Ross Robertson. And no, I'm not fat shaming that walleye. She has literally never looked more beautiful ever. And judging by the pics Ross posts on his Instagram page, all of those Lake Erie walleyes are on the same meal plan. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling it's like if you do too much keto and all you do is crush all of the meat all of the time until you're ready to pop. Keep doing your thing, Ross. One of these days I'm finally gonna sneak over there for a boat ride, hop in one of those big old beanbag chairs. I'll bring the snacks. Have you a look at a 17-pound burbot. It was iced by Zion Gal, I believe in north central Alberta, and the fish wasn't crazy long. I mean, well, okay, it was a pretty long fish, 33.5 inches, but when a stacked 17 pounds. That is the burbot of a lifetime for most folks, but maybe not Zion. He said he caught it in the late afternoon. He was pounding bottom in about 45 feet of water with a pink and white TC Moto tube. I believe those puppies glow pretty bright, which isn't really normal in a tube. Good for burbots though. And that fish was released to continue gorging and get even more fatterer. And obviously she's probably plump full of a bunch of eggs and ready to drop the kids off at daycare. So this was the first time I had come across Zion's Instagram page, and literally about 2.7 seconds into scrolling, creeping on him, I could not have hit the follow button faster. The dude puts a ton of time in, including literally sleeping in a cot on the ice for multiple days straight, all in the name of big bites, and he puts a ton of crazy fish topside.
There's a lot of fishing excuses. I need you to give me as many as you can in 6 seconds. Go!
Too windy, too hot, too cold, water's too low, water's too high. Forgot my rods, forgot my baits.
Tide was too low, tide was too high, water was too wet.
Water was too wet?
Too wet.
Here's another great excuse to use if you can't catch any fish, because I don't know about you, but I've been running out of things to blame. Captain Jeremiah of Lumens River Guiding said people often wonder why the fishing can be so difficult at times on the Mississippi River. And well, they have basically unlimited amounts of forage to just gorge on, stuff themselves full, and they got no reason to eat your little bait. Exhibit 1A, look at how chock full this baby is. I mean, it makes sense, just something to chew on. You get it? Chew. So that particular fish was a 20-inch walleye, and it had 9 large gizzard shad in its belly, and yet somehow still decided it was going to eat, or maybe Jeremiah's just so good that he is able to trick that fish into thinking it's still hungry. Jeremiah said that recently the fish have been absolutely destroying his new Berkeley, I believe it's called a curly bones and a bonefish. It's a couple of new soft plastics Berkeley came out with lots of movement, look like great river baits. And obviously he's pretty dialed. When you see the way that this one, and it's a 25-incher, absolutely inhaled that. I actually had the chance to try those baits out late last fall up on the Rainy River, doing a little snap jigging. Water temps were cold, fish were fussy, but I caught a couple of really nice fish on them. Now we're still locked up with ice around where I'm at, and the walleye season doesn't open forever, basically, but I can't wait to try them out this spring. Minnesota has a new state record northern pike, kind of. Brad caught this 46.25-inch northern, and look at that girth. He was fishing on Mille Lacs earlier this winter in January, and apparently it took 40-ish minutes to get that thing topside, and I can't even believe it would fit through an 8-inch hole. I mean, maybe he was using a 10-inch, and I couldn't believe it would fit through that either. So this fish actually tied the current catch and release state record pike in Minnesota, so they'll share a top spot for now. The Mille Lacs ice fishing season for pike is actually open through the end of March here, so there's still time to sneak out there and soak some dead baits. It's kind of a special reg that they're doing this year. I don't know anywhere else in Minnesota you can even do it unless you baja up to Lake of the Woods, which a lot of people do for good reason. So I love seeing those big fish go back, keep those big fish genetics in the water, give somebody else a chance to catch that fish and have the fish of a lifetime. Heck, you can't grow a 50-inch northern unless you let a 46 1/4 incher go back, so love to see it. Minnesota currently has a state record catch and release program, but it only has 4 species. It's muskie, pike, flathead catfish, and lake sturgeon. But they are expanding those. I believe they're adding 6 new species of fish over the next 3 years. They didn't want to create any workload problems, so they're dropping 6 new species a year for 3 years. And they saved the best for last because walleye is going to be rolling out in 2026 with that last group of fish. Now I've heard of folks catching walleyes by trolling right in the prop wash, but this might be taking it a little bit too far. That's DH Custom Baits working his magic, and he's wondering what size split rings he should add to that bad boy. Literally nothing surprises me with DH Custom Baits anymore. I mean, look at the badge on the front end of his truck. Even that thing is fishy. And of course, his baits are even fishier. Alright, that wraps up this week's top 5. A big shout out to Seafoam for keeping us running smooth, making this video series possible. And it's Seafoam season if you're getting your boat ready for spring, or you're putting the snowmobiles and other fun toys to night-night. Make sure you add Seafoam to keep them running top-notch and know that they're going to start when you need them to start. If you want more walleye and ice fishing related content like this, sign up for our free Target Walleye emails at targetwalleye.com. And I'll see you back in 7.